Fuck me. I gotta stop trying to sleep around here. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Yeah, I remember this game. Nintendo always had the reputation for being the more child-friendly game company, but every now and then they like to remind the world that they were into the sick and twisted shit too. This game was developed by Silicon Knights, but it was produced by none other than Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of the Super Mario and the Star Fox games. Let's check it out. This game takes you on a psychological journey, both through time and through your own sanity. To classify it as a horror game would be an understatement. Fans of older films will appreciate how Eternal Darkness pays homage to famous flicks. The tome of Eternal Darkness mirrors the Evil Dead's Necronomicon, both in construction and the artistic style. Several moments in this game are clear references to Amityville horror, with flies on the screen, bleeding walls, and continual reference to a special time. Though in this game the time is 3:33, commonly associated with the time of heightened paranormal and demonic activity, rather than 3:15, referring to the time of the DeFeo murders. The premise to this game is complicated to say the least, spanning events that occur across millennia. The main story focuses on Alex Roivas, who's summoned to her family's mansion to identify the decapitated blood pile of her grandfather.
Yes, it's him. He's wearing our family ring.
I love how casual this detective is, just drinking his coffee. Another day, another mulched body. Living the dream.
Can't you check dental records or something? What is wrong with you?
Unsatisfied with Rhode Island's finest, Alex decides to move into the mansion and investigate on her own. In many ways, the Roivas mansion acts as a hub world, like the castle did in Super Mario 64. Only here, levels aren't found in paintings, they're found in chapters from the Tome of Eternal Darkness, hidden around the mansion. To find out what happened to Alex's grandfather, you have to learn about the fate of the tome's previous custodians. When you read one of the chapters, you take control of the relevant character whom that chapter is about. I was initially skeptical of this approach since you never really get attached to the individual characters, but it works surprisingly well. This mechanic serves as a narrative to this dark and intricate story. Each character's role is unique and significant in its own way. The arch-villain in this game is Pius Augustus, a Roman centurion who stumbles upon an artifact that empowers him and also binds him to one of three ancient gods. The three gods include Chaturga, who I'm guessing is the evolved form of Kingler, Ulyaoth, the tentacle machine of love, and Xel'lotath, the giant facehugger from Alien. For whatever reason, these three gods all hate the shit out of each other, and whoever Pius aligns with uses him like a pawn. Since these three gods aren't allowed on Earth, they have to use the Eye of Sauron to FaceTime that shit. And like, for reals, that's the Eye of Sauron. Come on, guys. In addition to these three dicks, there's also Mantarok, the giant pile of eyeballs, who's apparently the one dick to rule them all since we're knocking off the Lord of the Rings, because he's got the power of all the other three. Kinda like with Catherine, the story is the focus of this game. The cutscenes are spread out pretty evenly, and they help set the macabre tone for the universe that you're in. This game starts with a quote from Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. Dark demented poem for a dark demented game. Did you know that Edgar Allan Poe actually developed something similar to the Big Bang Theory almost a century before scientists did? Just goes to show you can't be a little bit genius without being a whole lot of crazy. The most notable feature of this game is that it wants you to feel like you're losing your mind. I have never played a game that deliberately fucks with you quite like this one. Some are bizarre, like your body getting dismembered or being swarmed by enemies and not being able to attack. But that's not enough. They'll feed you errors meant to drive you nuts in real life, making you think that your controller got disconnected, or you sat on your remote, or the ominous blue screen of death. These effects can happen whenever your sanity level is low. Of course, there are spells and items that can recover your sanity, but it's way more fun to just let it ride. The camera gets all wonky and there are disturbing sounds everywhere. scary shit. What the hell? This is more disturbing than that Siberia Sounds of Hell hoax, and it sounds like there's Nazis shouting Zeke Heil in the background. Have fun trying to pick a lock when there's babies crying and women screaming all the time. Fuck! The core gameplay involves solving puzzles. This may involve finding items, or casting spells, or ripping off Raiders of the Lost Ark. Standing in your way is a variety of enemies, from zombies to trappers and fucking bone thieves. These dicks jump you, it's instant fucking death. This game does have a ton of weapons though that you can use to defend yourself. Swords, maces, axes, pistols, shotguns, grenade launchers, fuck yeah! Melee weapons always seem to be more industrious than the guns because ammo is always a problem. Oh, wait. Fuck yeah, there's ammo everywhere! Ammo orgasm! Wait, what? Oh, fucking insanity. Dick move. In addition to weapons, you can learn powerful magic by combining runes. How powerful the spell is depends on the size of the power circle. While you do find scrolls that tell you which runes combine for certain spells, you don't really need them. This game lets you experiment to your heart's content. You can unlock spells as soon as you have the runes to make them. Without the scroll, you won't know the effects except through trial and error. The functions of runes is also hidden until you find the associated codex, but again, they're unnecessary for the patient and curious player. In order to cast spells, you first need to have the Tome of Eternal Darkness, a book bound in human flesh and bone. The runes and spells learned by characters are retained by the other holders of the tome, so you'll always be able to access spells you've learned once you've found the tome again in the next chapter. The combat in this game is fairly simple. The general strategy is to chop off enemies' heads, then run around behind them and cut them down to a bloody walking stump, then you just hack away. Pretty satisfying. Eternal Darkness isn't afraid to use blood and gore, but it doesn't overdo it. You even gain sanity back by doing finishing moves on downed enemies. You'll notice the enemies will be tinged a certain color depending on which of the 3 gods they're aligned with. You can enchant your weapons to get an advantage in combat. Except for against Mana Rock zombies. Just set those fuckers on fire. Burn, bitch! One big complaint I have with the combat is you can't let your character's health get low. Once your health starts wearing out, you can't run and you can barely limp away from combat. And since it takes time to cast a health spell, that means you have to crawl your gimp ass out of the room just to heal up. They may as well have just removed this bottom section of the health bar, because if you get it here in mid-combat, you're fucked. This game doesn't have any autosave or checkpoint features, so you have to remember to save frequently, but sometimes it won't let you, like if there's an enemy in the room or something, and you don't want to be caught deep into a chapter and have to start all over just because you died. I'm going to save right now. No, shit, wait! Fuck, no, fuck! Shit, oh, fuck. Oh, it's gone. It's all fucking gone.
This can't be happening.
Oh, you guys. You fucking guys. That's a good one. Most of these puzzles are pretty self-explanatory.
Sets the clock to the 33rd minute of the 3rd hour.
That was subtle. But sometimes I did find myself wandering around until I figured out what to do. Like, I have to specifically target this body to teleport it, otherwise it won't work. Cheap shit. It is kinda cool that the things you send to the Trapper Dimension can be found there later when you eventually get trapped yourself. And the camera will fuck you into them at least once. Shit. This game uses an unusual camera that is kind of locked, but it's sort of dynamic at the same time. Most of the time it isn't a problem, but it can screw you over on occasion. I don't see any reason why the C-stick couldn't have been used to manually position the camera, but in general, I'd say it's passable. And there aren't flies and shit in the way. This game largely takes place in 4 locations: a Persian Forbidden City, Mantarok's Temple in Cambodia, the Roivas Mansion, and the Amiens Cathedral in France. Although there's a limited number of areas to explore, each character exists in a different time in history, which makes each visit to these locations differ based on what point in the timeline you're in. Like this time in 1760 when the United States wasn't a country yet. Oops. I guess Silicon Knights is a Canadian-based company, so I'll give them a free pass for not taking US history. I don't know shit about Canadian history. Except that we supposedly annexed them in 2072. There are enough differences along the timeline to keep these stages interesting, kinda like the ship in Death by Degrees. My only gripe with the level design is that melee weapons stop when they hit walls, making combat in tight corridors turn into a real pain in the ass. Graphically speaking, this game looks pretty good. The eerie atmosphere is well captured in the environments. The characters all look pretty good, though there is a little room for improvement. Like these ghosts, it's a horror game. They probably could have made these a little bit scarier.
Oh, I'm a scary ghost 'cause I'm blue and you can see through me. Boo!
The dialogue is by far the scariest part of Edward's ghost.
Yes, my little girl.
Knock it off, creepy grandpa! Helping build this dark atmosphere to the game is the soundtrack. The music helps build tension in an already disturbing world. Even when it gets hardcore in the mansion when you play as Maximilian Roivas. This shit is epic.
Call me Max, call me Max, call me Max, call me Max.
Going on the streets, just wearing my rags. Millionaire mansion, capping money stacks. My girl got me cheating, I just call it hacks. I'm getting so tipsy, they throw me out of packs. Always try to front you say, show me the Carfax. Thugs give you trouble when you pull out your gas. Sleeping on the job, get a rat-a-tat-tat. I'm Victoria pimp, you can see it in my swag. Move, bitch, get out my path. I'm a one-man record, cruise up to the task. Getting crazy in the bedroom, that's why I got my flash blood dripping from these walls just like a damn pack. Copy of that memo, I can send you out a fax. Call me Max.
Call me Max, call me Max, call me Max, call me Max, call me Max.
Once you beat the game, you can play through again with a different alignment. Most of the enemies will be a little different, and so will a few of the traps. There's also a jump to game feature that you can unlock that will allow you to go back and replay any specific chapter that you like. You can even unlock Eternal mode once you've played through with all 3 alignments. You're invincible, you have infinite ammo, and you never run out of magic. Very overkill, but it's pretty fun for all these gun levels. You never used to have any ammo, now you can just go nuts. Boom! Yeah, bitch! Eat grenades! Everybody's got nades! Nades, nades, nades! Time to tear down these barricades, everybody's got nades! This is a pretty unique game. It has a dark story and atmosphere and has some innovative ideas like the Sanity effects. If you're looking to have a game that'll keep you entertained and fuck with you along the way, then Eternal Darkness is probably right for you. If you're not into the violence and gore aspects, then you may want to steer clear of this one. And on that... Yeah? Getcha!